Then, after Buddha shows us enlightenment, and then Buddha taught three major that Dhamma wheels. Training, wheel of dharmas. This is, I think English must be wrong. My mind never accepts this. Training wheel of dharma, right? Mm. Then each of these also, they talk about 5 perfections. Each of these has 5 perfections. So, so these are the more they talk about, how you could say that, relative 5 perfections. This like these human realms, like Buddha Shakyamuni, he, how you could say that, only human beings levels you could call like these 5 perfections. So first training of wheel of Dhamma training, the place today we call Varanasi. I think in the ancient time they call Varanasi this very nice word, which is, I don't know how to really translate it directly, but meaning is that, there were many sages or many practitioners became, the body totally disappeared and only left the clothes. So therefore the name is called Tonsong Hongwe. Tonsong Hongwe, Rada Manjik Yimbi Naks. The forest, it used to be forest, and then all little animals, they have never have ever fears because of the meditators. They are meditating, and never harms those animals. So therefore name also called without fear of the animals of this forest or something, But then another thing is this falling cities. That means only the clothes are left. And people thought, where these clothes are falling down? There was nobody. But means that the practitioners become, the body disappeared, or rainbow bodies, you could say, I think. And that's why, they just only clothes are left. So it became like that place called Varanasi, the first, that wheel of the Dhamma training of Buddha. And that place become like that, that place. First they taught, and then meditators meditation around there. And this place is such well known as like that, the siddhis, practitioners, they are enlightened. They just left only clothes. And that place, and then the Dharma, perfect Dharma, is just 4 noble truth. So 4 noble truth is really foundation of the Buddha's teaching. The genuine Dharma, you could say. And today again, whatever you talk, I think they are within these 4 noble truths. 4 noble truths, the deeper and deeper understand of the 4 noble truth, then you have to, I think we could say like that way, more detailed explanations, then we need to talk more about Mahayana teachings, more about Vajrayana teachings, and so on and so forth. For instance, the 4 noble truth is that suffering of the truth, source of the suffering of the truth, and cessation of the truth, and then what called path of the truth. This called with 4 noble truth. And when you talk about cessation of the truth, means like result. And cessation has 4 qualities. Cessation, peace, perfected, and then certainty. I think this is four qualities. So Tibetan word Ngokpa, Hiwa, Janamba. So Janamba word sometimes they translate as perfected. Maybe you can check this. What is this four branch or four kind of description of the cessation? So if you really, this is like when we talk about just cessation is already, wisdom. The genuine cessation is primordial wisdom, you could say. And that cessation is peace, means in Dzogchen terminology, primordial, primordial. I think it's called primordial wisdom, right? Primordial wisdom. And then this perfect Janamba is linked directly what is called luminosity, spontaneously, presence. And certainty is, that is really the final and, highest of the enlightenment result. So, but roughly when he talked Four Noble Truths, and people more, I think, that the cessation is like just enough to the, this growth, negative emotion is become cool. Then they talk about something, cessation, and peace means like when there is really pain of the emotions are not there, they can understand as peace. Janamba means, of course, when you have such things like that, you have some joys, peace, and they think that is something that perfected, as well as the certainty, they think that is final result. So Buddha called, yes, this is final result, and that result we call ahats. You just enough kind of remove of your enemies. And that doesn't mean everything is your friend. But if you really become very good, not enough you have no enemy, but you need to, everything become your friend. Then really you have power, right? So like Mahayana teachings or Vajrayana teaching is not only such kind of enemies are gone, but everything is your friend. Everything is your support. Everything is like within yourself. This is the more like Vajrayana of the result. So I think that all other teachings are, more you make a liberate, right? Liberating of the Buddha's teachings, details of the Buddha's teachings. And then there will be discussion about Madhyamika, or then the discussion about this, what is called Buddha nature, and the antique teachings, and so on and so forth. So sometimes I think that in our ordinary schools, and you have different subjects, right? And that subject, it has to go to your college. That subject has to be linked with your master degree, and that subject linked into this PhD, and so on and so forth. Similarities, these Four Noble Truths, kind of very basic. And from that, then we need to build all Buddha's teaching. So, in that case, the first of the Dharma teaching is the Four Noble Truths. Okay, it's really important. I think Four Noble Truths is really, really, we need to think more. The today's, I think, our problem is that, Buddha says that whatever samsara's joy is the end of suffering. Actually, the end of it will be end of suffering. No matter, even you are very famous, everything is perfect, and still end up you are suffering. We are never go beyond the suffering of, sickness, suffering of the death, suffering of the old age, and we cannot go above this. So, therefore, he says, we should understand to the suffering of samsara. And we really, this is important, we make a lot of plans, lot of actions, lot of plans. doing things. Actually, that our each actions, I think, taking our life. Whatever we do is become, we could say, cause of our life. Because it took part of our lives. So, I think last years we did a lot of work in Danakosha. And I'm sure that people think it's too much work, and in our sanghas, this is. But I really many times give up. Anyway, you are doing so much things all the time, But we need to think what is really meaningful. If someone tried to do something like stupa, temple, statue, mantles, circumambulate, even you throw some kind of earth, such kind of place like this, I think it took our life, but it can be very meaningful. But many of our actions, it took our life, but then when your life is finished, I think there's not much good things afterwards. So depends, of course, your motivations. But it is really important. Because we think we are hoping something to getting better and better. But how can we actually getting better? Because our life is shorter and shorter. And then parents are coming here and there. When we become above the 60s, then I think we need to every day something to eat, medicines, not only food. So therefore Buddha says, you should understood of the suffering of samsara. He spoke very strongly. You should say, if today's we use, I think if you use today's word, and he talked very strongly, suffering of samsara. You should understood of suffering of samsara. He didn't make us kind of fear or, afraid or waking up, but he tried to really telling that why you don't understand these things. That was he was telling.